Good morning. Glad you're with us here on this Monday. I'm Eric Conard.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. We do want to get straight to this breaking news that we've been following for you throughout the morning.
Yeah, right now, crews at the scene of an apartment building in National City had to be evacuated after a fire broke out in one of the units here.
Yeah, you can see a pretty large building, pretty tall. This fire right at 8th and National City Boulevard. It's now out. One person, though, had to be taken to the hospital. CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live from the scene now with the very latest. Chris, what are you seeing there now?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, this is considered to be a high rise, and this happened on the 8th floor, so quite a bit of a jaunt there for firefighters to get up there to try to see exactly where this fire had started, which apartment that it was in. Once they did find it, they found flames inside of the apartment, inside of the actual room itself. There are also found a woman and 3 dogs.
At least 3 dogs in the unit or in the immediate area. They did evacuate those dogs. They're now in the possession of the police department, and they'll follow their typical protocol for protecting those animals.
And so that woman was taken to the hospital as well, too, because she was dealing with smoke inhalation as well as burns. And this call came in sometime around 3:40 in the morning. And when we arrived here on scene, probably around, I would say, 4:45, 5 o'clock, we could already see that some of the residents were being allowed to go back inside of the building. So they did make quick work of putting out that fire and making sure that the smoke would not be at such a harmful level for other residents as well, too. Now, no word yet on what they believe may have caused this fire, but what we can tell you right now is that a bit of good news, that fire alarm has since gone off. Now, there are going to be some residents that are displaced simply due to the water that was used to put out the fire from the firefighter standpoint, as well as the sprinklers that the building has in cases like this, something like this happens. So, of course, when we do hear back on that woman's status as well as what may have caused this fire, we'll be sure to update that story over at CBS8.com. Eric and Netta.
All right, yeah, glad to see that at least things have ended there, not as obviously panicked, but the dog, you saw him running across the street.
Rescuing that woman, the dogs, safely getting everyone out of there. Great work by those firefighters there in National City.
Thank you, Chris, for that update. And right now, a search is underway for 3 Americans sailing from Mexico to San Diego. They've been missing for over a week.
Yeah, the sailors were supposed to make a stop in Cabo San Lucas before reaching our shores here in San Diego. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol joining us live now with the latest on the investigation. Dana Marie?
Well, Eric and Netta, it's a phone call parents never want to receive, that their daughter is missing, one of the sailors on that sailboat. Now, we spoke to the mother of Carrie O'Brien. She says that she was an experienced sailor, someone who was very comfortable on the water. She's hoping the Coast Guards have some good news pretty soon, but here's them describing the conditions.
It's a long trip for, even in good conditions, from Mazatlan to Cabo. That's 2 days, and certainly on to San Diego, which was their eventual destination.
Now, according to the Coast Guard, Carrie O'Brien, Frank O'Brien, and William Gross left Mazatlan, Mexico on April 4th on a 44-foot sailboat. They were supposed to stop in Cabo on April 6th, but there is no record of them arriving. All 3 are experienced sailors and were aboard the O'Brien's boat called Oceanbound. U.S. Coast Guard say conditions were not optimal for the type of trip they were on when they began their voyage. Mexican Navy officials joined the Coast Guard in searching for the group. The search has included various marinas through Baja California. Now, the family of these 3 sailors have been pushing the sailing community in Southern California to join the search. They say hundreds of boats have been helping look for this experienced crew. So, of course, all these people want their family members home, back safe with them. We have more information on CBS8.com if you'd like to read more. Of course, we're going to follow this developing story and bring you the latest if we get any new information. I'm Dana Marie McNichol coming to you live from Harbor Island.
Hope we get some good updates there soon. Thank you, Dana Marie. This morning, Mayor Todd Gloria and other San Diego officials are traveling to the Capitol for the annual Chamber of Commerce delegation. Now,
this trip is a chance for many San Diego officials to advocate for funding and legislation that would help our region. Issues this year they'll be talking about would be infrastructure projects like work on highways, rail, ports of entry, border security, and water. They will also discuss proposals that affect many local businesses. And this morning, Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner back in service, going throughout Southern California. The train has been undergoing repairs for many months.
This will help a lot of people with their commutes. The return to service means no more bus transfers in Oceanside. Full passenger service had been shut down for nearly 6 months due to unstable ground near the tracks in San Clemente. The Surfliner will have 10 daily round trips between LA and San Diego starting today. Metrolink is also going back to daily rail service to Oceanside as well. This morning, an Encinitas community is still searching for answers in an unsolved fatal hit and run. 4 months ago on New Year's morning, David DeLima was killed while crossing a busy intersection. The community rallied yesterday at that intersection. They held signs, flyers, and flowers to raise awareness and demand answers as to who killed the Canyon Crest Academy graduate.
It's been the shortest and longest 4 months that any of us have gone through. It's pretty cemented into what this year has meant. It's something we're going to take on for the rest of our lives.
Family and friends say the vehicle was a dark-colored Chrysler or Dodge, like the one on your picture there, with damage to the front driver's side. You're asked to call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. A $1,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. At new this morning here, CAL FIRE telling CBS 8 there is a horse that fell into a Hamul ravine and has an injured leg. CAL FIRE saying this is in Hollenbeck Canyon off of Honey Springs Road.
We do have an image of the rescue attempt right now. CAL FIRE crews on scene last night. So here's what they're dealing with. They said the terrain is really too unstable at this point to try to retrieve the horse. They said last night they're actually waiting for the weather to improve a little bit so they can bring out a helicopter. We know there's the marine layer this morning, so they may not be able to fly quite yet, waiting for that daylight. No injuries to the riders or to firefighters at this point. But as we said, the horse likely injured. We will be sure to update you as soon as we find out more.
These are always pretty intricate rescues. Yeah. You got to get that big giant harness. All the conditions have to be right. Let's check in on the conditions and see what it's looking like. A little dewy out there.
Yeah, a little
rain
dewy.
In some spots.
Some light mist, drizzle. Nothing really measurable.
Okay.
So things are staying very light. However, it's going to be kind of the tale of this morning, tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. About a 72-hour stretch on hand where that marine layer is going to go through bouts of being a little bit more dense at times, especially through the morning. And that likely is going to translate to less and less of a actual view of that sunrise, more low clouds, maybe even some fog. We're encountering that this morning. You can see what infrared satellite loop looks like. We are watching those clouds hug the coastline. We're watching those clouds bring a little bit of shower activity. We'll show that in the forecast today, temperatures are going to make their way to the low 60s, which is still cooler than average. 60 along the coast, 64 for your inland valleys. Across the deserts, a lot more sunshine, a lot less of that onshore flow, which is going to mean some warmer temperatures. 87 out there for the deserts for this afternoon. Wind advisory is in play. This is going to be one of the main talkers of the week, and that's because today all the way through Wednesday, we're going to have those wind gusts really start to pick up, especially across the mountains and deserts. We'll see that mainly tonight, from tonight through tomorrow morning, and then again from Tuesday night into Wednesday. But what we're really going to see is that even along the coast and inland, county-wide, we'll feel the gusts. It's just that mountains and deserts are the ones that meet criteria level. Looking at Julian specifically, you can see how your wind gusts and your sustained speeds start to climb from the teens all the way to the mid 20 mile per hour range, 10 miles per hour for about the 6 a.m. hour, all the way through 17 on your sustained speeds out there. So you can get a kind of sense of what that's going to look like. Marine layer still active and on stretching as far east as Ramona through 10 a.m. and then starting to break apart. Cloud layers triggering some showers and misting, not only for this morning, but for tomorrow morning as well, and then maybe even into Wednesday morning. The change that we see is after Wednesday. Ridge of high pressure starts to build. That ridge is going to bring us significant warming from about Thursday all the way through your weekend. So you can see what that looks like. 71 degrees by Thursday, climbing by 10 degrees to 81 by Friday. Let's take a look at your border wait times. It's 6:09 on the clock, and we are seeing some slower speeds, of course. According to the CBP website, that's a 150-minute wait for the general line at the San Ysidro Port of Entry and a 110-minute line for the general line at the Otay Mesa Port of Entry as well. Back to you.